Today I'm going to be making some honey barbecued wings. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. First, I'm going to start by putting some powdered seasoning on my chicken. I'm not going to use so much of the fresh produce today, only because I feel like with the sticky wings, you don't necessarily need so much of that. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to be using today, as I always do. So you know the usual everyday seasoning, some chicken seasoning, black pepper, some Maggi liquid seasoning. This is some jerk seasoning from Jamaica, some dried parsley, garlic granules, some golden syrup, and honey, and a little bit of the oyster sauce is what I'm going to use to make my sticky sauce. And then these, I'm going to use it to season the meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to season the meat, and then I'm going to leave it to marinate for probably about 2 to 3 hours. Once I do that, then I'll come back. So let me get with the chicken. Is already washed. I washed it with lemon, obviously, and lime when I was cleaning up the wings and everything like that. So we're going to start with the seasoning. So as usual, my everyday seasoning, we're going to pop in there. We're going to also put a little bit of chicken seasoning in there. Going to put some jerk seasoning in there. It's not a lot. We're also going to put a little bit of the garlic granules in there. And then I'm going to put some black pepper. Because what I'm going to do is after I season this, I'm going to leave it to marinate for about 2 to 3 hours. So I never got the chance to season it last night. And then I'm going to put some liquid seasoning in there. So this is the Maggi liquid seasoning. I'm going to pop some of that in there as well. Yeah? I won't put the browning in there now because I feel like when I put the browning in there now, it gets too black when I'm cooking it. So I like to put the browning in there a little bit afterwards. So you can either use your hands. Remember, have your clean hands. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use my hands to marinate, get it all in the chicken. I've also put a few drumsticks in there. See, more than enough. I'm gonna probably put a little bit more in there. A little bit more seasoning. I don't normally cook with salt. A lot of people cook with salt, but I feel like the seasonings that I use are already salty enough, and the salt will just make it extra salty. I don't cook with seasoning salt and stuff like that. It's not my thing. All right, so it can do with a little. Let me rinse off my hands. I'll come back. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit more of the seasoning on it. I feel like you can kind of eye it and see what needs seasoning from what don't. We could put a little bit more black pepper and then that will be it. Yeah? And then you go in there with your hands again and you kind of massage it all in. You kind of massage it all in. Yeah? Alright, so this is it. Remember again, we're going to season the sauce when that's going on there. So once that's done, I'm going to put some cling film over this, probably pop it in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll come back to you guys, right? So let me just put some cling film over it and then I'll be back, yeah? Alright, so here we are. I'm going to put the cling film over it. So just allow it to marinate. A lot of people will skip this step, but I feel like, especially for Sunday dinner, it's essential. You've got to put a little bit of seasoning in. You've got to make your meat marinate. So here we go. I'm going to pop that in the fridge for a little bit and then I'll come back to you. Okay? So it's been a good while and this has been marinated in the fridge now. I made some salmon as well. I've had my peas to boil. This is some red peas with a little bit of coconut milk that I'm going to use to make my rice and peas. In this pot now, I have a small amount of oil. I'm going to fry the wings. Let's just give you a rough idea. I'm going to fry the wings before I put them in the oven and then I baste them. So the wings, for the time being, are still just seasoned with what I have in there. So it's still just seasoned with a powder seasoning. And then I'm going to fry them. I've got the fire now on this high. So it's about semi-medium heat. And then we're going to come back, yeah? All right, so this has now come out of the fridge. It's seasoned real nice. I'll just take that off and then I'll disregard the cling film. So what I will do is I'm gonna put a little bit of thyme in there. I'm gonna use a little bit of pimento seeds, and that's it, because I'm gonna use the rest of the. Actually, I'll probably put some onions in there as well to give it some extra flavour in. Yeah. There we go. I like to take them off. It's not all the time I like them on the thing, because if we're gonna fry them, they can't fry like that anyways. So we'll have that there. And I'm probably just going to chop up a little bit of onions. And then I'm going to put some onions in there as well as a little bit of garlic. Okay? Because when it's the sticky wings, you don't need so much of the fresh produce in there. You want it quite dried, and then you garnish it when you're done. So I put the garlic. Garlic's always good. Always good in everything, yeah? So I just put the... There we go. Okay, so I'm just waiting for that to heat up now. Waiting for the oil to heat up, and once that heats up, I'll fry the wings, part fry the wings, that is. And then once I part fry them, I'll put them in the oven. And then they're in the oven and they'll get sticky. I won't cover them when I put them in the oven because I want them to be quite dry. You know, when you cover the meat and put it in the oven, it usually does make it a bit moist. I'm not looking for that kind of thing. All right, nice. I keep saying I'm not going to put anything else, but you know, sometimes you can't help yourself. So I just put a little bit of red pepper in there because there's kids in my household. I can't cook with as much pepper as I would like, and I just put a little bit of the seeds in there. There's salmon here as well, so they can have some of the salmon, so I can be a little bit less. Usually I wouldn't even put any peppers because the seeds are quite warm. All right, so this is it for real this time. And what I'll do with that now is I'm gonna wait until my thing heats up, and then I'll pop it in there to start the frying. Nice. Now I'm gonna start with making this sauce. I'm gonna put just a tiny little bit of oil. There we go, literally just that much amount of oil. What I'm gonna start by doing is I'm going to put this on the stove. So I'm gonna put some honey, quite a nice amount of honey. I'm also gonna put some sugar, brown sugar that is, because you know brown sugar is better. And then I'm gonna put those two on the stove to start kind of sizzling up. I'm also gonna put this burnt sugar. It's a browning, because obviously I haven't put none. You don't need a lot of this because it's quite strong. So I put that in there as well. I won't really need to put any browning when I put that in there. So I'll leave it browning, and that will give it a really, really great color. And then I just start mixing that. This fire that this is on is a very low fire because you don't want to fry it, you just want it to, you know, you see how that's brown, and I never even put a lot of it in there, and I can feel it getting warm already. So in here is just honey, sugar, a little bit of the burnt sugar which was purchased from America, and I'm going to start doing a bit more. Okay, so this is a good, it's now warm, so I'm going to start with the chicken, yeah? I'm putting the chicken in. I'm trying to take off as much of the excess things that I used in there, like the garlic and everything like that. I'm trying to fry it without it. Sometimes it's a bit hard. But you're going to try and fry these for about maybe 20 minutes. Because remember, you're still going to put this in the oven for a long time. Okay? The drumsticks will obviously need to be fried longer than the wings. So I'll come back to you once this is done. What I have in here so far is I have some honey, brown sugar, burnt sugar as well, which is really, really sweet. I'm also going to put some sweet chili in here, and I have some golden syrup, okay? So you need quite a bit because obviously there's quite a bit of chicken, isn't there? Okay? So you need this to be a bit warm. Right now, after it's finished, I'm gonna turn this off until I'm ready to do the chicken. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip each chicken inside here as you can see, the chicken's still doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dip each chicken inside here and then put it in the oven to dry out. As I said, it's not going to be like a barbecue chicken where it's going to be quite moist. It's going to be one of the dry ones, okay? What I decided to do is I'm going to tip a little bit of browning inside here. I wasn't going to, but I don't want to just depend on the burnt sugar anymore. So I'm going to just tip a little bit of browning inside here to give it a bit of colour as well, yeah? So, you know, with browning, I use this one. It's very, very, very rich. Okay. So as you can see, already it's very, very brown. Okay, there we go. That's more than enough because the sauce, as you can see, is practically black. You don't want the chicken looking like it's bun. Yeah. All right, cool. These are how they look. As I said, you want to fry them pretty dry. So when you put them in the sauce, they kind of soak up most of the sauce. Yeah. So this is just half of them. I'm waiting for the other half to fry, and then we're all good. All right. As you can see now, the chicken's here. These are all the fried chicken. I've got a few more of the drumsticks parts in here, and this is the sauce. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take one of the chickens and just dip it in the sauce like that, and then take it out and put it back in the pan. That's how we want it. We want it literally drenched in sauce because it will dry out. Yes, I'm gonna keep repeating that, and then I'll come back. You can see now, it looks very dark, and all the seasoning, all the juices and everything like that is inside. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this inside now to get its taste. Here we go, guys. Here we have it. Honey sweet barbecue wings. So you see they're sticky. They're not runny. This is exactly how I wanted them. So if you follow the recipe, you too will have it the same. Look at that. Mmm.